Hello and welcome back to the Real EFL YouTube channel, your home of EFL football. We've got so many videos already out, so many more in the pipeline as well. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to give the channel a subscribe. It costs you nothing and it really helps get our name out there as we build up to what is hopefully an incredible 24-25 season. Without further ado then, let's get straight on with the rest of the video. The championship season is now just a month away, and all 24 teams will be hoping that they can secure a place in the Premier League for the 25-26 season. And many pundits are suggesting, myself included actually, that this is one of the most open championships that we've had in recent history. Leeds United, Norwich, Middlesbrough, Coventry, Preston, so many more are going to be linked with being somewhere in and around that top six. And then you can't forget the sides that are coming down from the promised land that is the Premier League. Burnley, Luton Town and Sheffield United. But it's the latter's team city rival that I think are actually being slightly overhyped. Yep, Sheffield Wednesday, because a lot of people are predicting them to be in and around that playoff battle. But the question is why? Why are they predicting them to be in and around that? Is it just because of transfers? Is it because of the manager that they've got? There's obviously a whole host of different reasons, and different pundits will have different reasons for selecting that. For me, again, I think they are slightly overhyping their chances this summer. Early business, just because they've done early business, doesn't mean that it's immediately great business. So let's have a little bit of a deep dive into what it is that they're currently doing. Well, let's start off with the manager, Danny Röhl. He came in off the back of some pretty poor performances at the club before he arrived, with Xisco Munoz getting the sack after Wednesday statistically had the worst start to a championship season ever recorded. He came in, managed to somehow work an utter miracle, turn the whole ship around, and they managed to steer it away from relegation in unbelievably impressive fashion as well, from many people simply writing them off to them having, again, a really impressive end to the campaign. And that was primarily, obviously the players have a good bit to do with it as well there, the ones on the pitch. A lot of people are putting a credit on Danny Röhl's name for that, and that secured him a contract extension this summer. But that was last season, and last season's fortunes need to be forgotten. If anything now, the club need to be looking to the future, and Danny Röhl needs to be looking to the future. Him and his recruitment staff have already set their sights on the new campaign, with transfers coming in very early on this window. In fact, they've already made 8 signings at the time of recording this video. Those signings that they've brought in as well are all quite ambitious transfers. You think about some of the names that they're bringing in, the likes of Jamal Lowe, the likes of Jan Valery, Max Lowe even. They are some big name players in the championship, and they're bringing a good few of them in on free transfers. Now, to me, that would immediately scream this club is going places. They're going to be ambitious, and when you've got one of the most exciting young managers in the EFL in the dugout, of course, everybody is going to be taking note of you when you are making those deals. And people, for that reason, would be perfectly right to be hyping them up and predicting them to be somewhere within the upper echelons of the league. But there are also so many question marks that I feel are just being forgotten about at the club. This time last year, there were a lot of question marks over the ownership of the club, with Dejphon Chansiri having a lot of abuse pointed towards him on social media, which was obviously not right. It never should go like that. Football fans can be fickle as much as they want, but abuse is just over and above and far too unfair to obviously him and his family. But there was a lot of abuse, and there was a real breakdown of trust between him and the fan base. Now, that breakdown of trust for me seemed lots more than just damage that could be repaired, but it seemed like it was a total breakdown, an absolute break of the level of trust that needs to be there between supporters and owner. Now, a lot of that kind of came to a head at the start of last season. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, Xisco Munoz started the campaign in charge. And that was because Darren Moore had left the club only 40 days before the start of the season, after obviously that immense comeback playoff victory against Peterborough United, where obviously then they went on to beat Barnsley in the League One playoff final as well. So there was immediate turmoil on that sense, and there was a lot of bitterness, it seemed, between Moore and Chansiri, with both taking blows at each other through social media and the like. And then Chansiri and the fans started having disputes because ticket prices rose exponentially for fans of the club. And on top of that, Chansiri then claimed that he wasn't going to be putting any more money in and told fans to replace the £2 million that he wanted that he would have had to put in themselves and to fundraise for it. Now, again, an owner doesn't do that and then endear the fans. It's just not the way it is. So there had been this massive breakdown. Now, does that mean that it could never have been repaired? Honestly, I don't think it could have been. Maybe I'm a cynic, and maybe it's right that people have moved on from that and seen a different side of Chansiri, but I don't think we have seen that different side. And that's why, for me, Sheffield Wednesday are being overhyped. Because these question marks, these issues, surely they're still there. Surely the fans still feel like that, especially if there's a rocky start to the season. Who do you think the fans are going to turn on quicker? The manager and the players, or the ownership? And if they go straight to the ownership, that will trickle down to the manager and the players, because they'll have this cloud over their head whenever they're on the pitch. Now, to me, that's why, again, a playoff battle, a top half battle, it seems a bit too much of a stretch this year for Wednesday. I'm not saying it won't happen, but for me, it's just too much of a stretch. So you may be sat there and thinking, all right, Charlie, that's great. Maybe that could be the case if Wednesday don't have a great start to the season, but what if they do? And then my whole video is moot. I don't think so. Because on the flip side, I think if they have a great start to the season, let's say we get to the point in October and they're flying high, maybe even in the top six, and a Premier League club decide that they're going to let their manager go because they want to have a change, well, who do you think is going to be towards the top of their shortlist? Any club, any director of football, any owner is going to have Danny Röhl on that list, especially if Sheffield Wednesday are doing well. Now, look, I'm not going to say that Danny Röhl will immediately go and then suddenly Sheffield Wednesday fall into free fall. I don't know. Obviously, we can't predict the future, but that hypothetical doesn't actually seem as extreme and as far-fetched as you might think. When he spoke exclusively to the Real EFL, Chris Waddle, former Sheffield Wednesday man, said that he wouldn't be surprised at all if Röhl's head gets turned, and he thinks that it will probably be because of Chansiri and because of not being backed. Now, when you look at the window so far that they're having, it certainly looks as though he's being backed. But Chansiri's obviously got a history of falling out with managers, and could that be the case here as well, which would lead to Röhl wanting to move on? It wouldn't surprise me too much. Also, add that to the fact that Waddle quite explicitly said that he felt that Chansiri was ruining the football club. Now, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because fans will have a totally separate opinion. I'm not a Sheffield Wednesday fan. I can't comment on that. But this is a great football club. Nobody can deny how big of a football club Sheffield Wednesday are. And if we're being honest, Danny Röhl, if he's got the opportunity to move to a Premier League club that's going to give him stability for the next however many years, I wouldn't, again, be surprised if he does make that switch. So the question is there, does that then mean that Sheffield Wednesday would, suddenly implode? Hard to say, you don't know. But it very much could. Last time they left, they had a stable manager and he left, that was Darren Moore. And look what happened when they brought in Xisco Munoz. Could it happen again? Potentially. And again, look, it's just all these combination of factors that I feel like are leading to people overhyping Sheffield Wednesday, where putting them, on a pedestal this summer because they've done this early business. And yes, okay, these signings look ambitious, but are they all going to work together? Who knows? We don't know yet. They've hardly played a pre-season. I think they've played one game so far, and that was against Alfreton Town of the National League North. So it's, again, really difficult to say. I'm not saying that they're going to be in a relegation battle. I'm not even saying that they won't get top half. I just feel like they've been a little bit overhyped so far this summer. And yeah, that's my view. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure to like the video if you have enjoyed it, and make sure to give the channel a subscribe. As we said in the introduction, we've got so many videos coming thick and fast. We've got so many great ideas, and the more that you guys that subscribe, the more that we're able to do. Thank you so much. Until next time, goodbye.